Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Command Kongs. Oh,
And I'm hiding.
not cloaked then, because Discovery can cloak now.
No, not cloaked. I'm hiding. Shh.
Are you a hidden captain? Is that what you're telling me? You're one of
Yes,
them? Oh.
it's a secret.
But are we going to reveal it here on Trekyards for you all?
See? Reveal! Here's Captain Foley. Yay!
Yay! 6 years. First time he's been on screen. Hello, Stuart.
Hello. So what are we talking about today, Samuel?
So, you might think about Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 13, and you'd be wrong, because we've now finished the arc, which means everything they designed and presented to us is now finished. And while doing prep for another episode, I found something that we completely zoned past, because at the time we didn't have the correct context. Now we do. It's a uniform. We love our uniforms. We love what they've given us this year. I want to jump right back in. If you remember, in the episode with the Trill, the Tal symbiont speaks to Adira, and we see multiple people from their past. Undisclosed times, undisclosed eras, etc., except we get a Picard uniform, and we get other people, 2 non-uniforms, Mr. Senatal in Admirals, which is an earlier Admirals, and another person who gets the absolute short end of the straw in terms of shots and close-ups, etc. Turns out, Stuart, that now we have the correct context. It's a fully different uniform and a different stage in the evolution, which we did not even mention at the time. But now we have other context. So, Stuart, here is the shot before all the enhancement before I go closer. Here's it in a long shot. Here's her in her close-up. And then here is it more detailed and obvious. Stuart, do you remember this one at all? And what do you think?
This is the one that I called and said looked like a motion picture arrow on, because it has that gray overall look, right? And it got the belt, little buckle thing. It's very similar as well to Wrath of Khan. You got the high collar, almost of like the turtleneck. You got the like little flap part. It's got visual cues to that, but also
You can totally rip that open. Like, it has that feel.
You should be able to.
But if you cut to the long shot, though, you can see the boots. It is actually the same concept as the new uniform, just then this new design. And because it's so limitedly focused on, I just, like, it took extra thought and effort to build something. It isn't just the new uniform with a less big stripe. And we'll get into the direct comparison in a second.
It might be, though. It could be one of the a prototype uniform that
That's good.
They decide, we got the idea, we'll make it, we'll see how it fits. It's not really poppy enough for the screen, but we'll get an actress that's the same size as Sonequa Martin Green, let's say, and throw her in that for this flashback scene, maybe alter one or two things, but I think it might have been a test uniform.
But let's do the direct side by side. And obviously, yes, you're right, the in-between uniform from the Kelpian thing did have the pips. That was the big difference there. Although it has been brought to our attention that that uniform was actually a reuse, or at least looks like they were reused from a cadet uniform in Pike's flashback. It's very hard to tell, but they look like they have the same striping. Obviously, different combat, different thing, but it looks the same. But since it's so hard to tell, we can probably consider that not really canon. Hard to see because obviously they haven't used the cadet uniform from 900 years ago as a standard uniform. But here's a direct side by side, and of course we have Mr. Zahil, because in fact it's a very good close up. So justice for him, glory for him and his house. But yes, here you go. 2 close-ups showing how similar and different they are. Your thoughts, good sir?
I'm very impressed, actually. If as a visual lineage, this makes sense as far as progression goes, and I really appreciate that they've. I don't know if they've necessarily paid that much attention to detail. I think, like I said, it might have been just a test uniform, but at least it does tie in lineage-wise. So it's great. They look a little too militaristic for me a little bit with that collar, unfortunately, and just the gray kind of drab.
Yeah, when the uniform's like 92% grey, doesn't quite have the same pop. So I think the current day one is that big, bold, works better. But I like I said, I was really surprised. You can obviously tell lineage, but it isn't just, you can tell it's not the same uniform. All of the lines are different. Like, it's a completely different cut, completely different feel when you look at those subtle things. But it does make, some vague sense, making the stripe bigger. We have no idea what the earlier version of the uniform was, obviously, to this. But, unabashedly the whatever. And also tells us how much further back the comm badge goes, because we did see a Picard uniform this isn't going to be that much further necessarily, but how old is Senate Tile, we don't know. It does put some interesting questions in. But obviously we know it's in between the relativity uniform and the modern day, because that's the time we have between Kelpia, and so it's in a 200-year period, and also the comm badge is only going to be that old.
The comm badge thing's interesting because the older one on the lady seems a little bit shinier than the more matte finished ones that we have now. It's subtle, it's very slight, but it's the difference between like a QMX shiny cosplay one and an actual resin one.
What's tricky though about this, and again they had to really pay attention, is that we know the older version of the comm badge has a delta that's standing out without rank pips there, whereas she's actually using the current day badge because it's subtly on top of it, and you see the rank as well. So it's newer than the Kelpia uniform probably, although using the same, which would make sense because that one doesn't have the stripe; those have shoulders. So if it's in between those two, then this uniform is probably only 70 years old, 80 years old, maybe. Like it's, and then the rank pips are being double rank pip for a bit, and then it goes just to the collar. Or no, well, no, I guess it does a double rank pips. Yeah, this is the first time we have that type of comm badge.
Yeah, and I never noticed it before, but yeah, the new thing on the new uniforms does have the rank as well, like 2 stripes for lieutenant, and yeah, that's interesting.
And if you go to the long shot, you can see again, not the same uniform. This is what I meant by actually completely different, because they are completely different.
Asymmetrical yet again, though, at the bottom, which at the bottom doesn't look quite as bad, honestly. I prefer that to being the big asymmetrical collar that Discovery had, but it's a minor thing, but asymmetry doesn't work for uniforms for me, generally. As far as like decoration goes, it's fine for asymmetry, but for actual cut, it bothers me, especially. And like I said, that collar in Discovery was the biggest thing that really
as in for the TOS version. Yeah, lovely uniform. That was definitely a problem. And as soon as we removed it in Photoshop, it looked a ton better.
Yes,
and we did see
absolutely.
versions that were removed in the short treks, so they did know. Lots of variation. But no, and I definitely think you're right. The new current uniform doesn't have a TMP vibe as much as just a jacket vibe. This one certainly does. The belt, etc. And I wonder if they were just trying to play like a fun homage to Star Trek 2. Just like, yeah, we'll just do a fun variant. Because, yeah, you pull those things together, kind of has that bit of a vibe. But I'm just amazed how different. It's not a jacket. This is definitely a one piece. I mean, maybe the seam is right. No. If you go to the full shot, it's definitely either a one piece with a belt to kind of bring it in the waist, or it's a 2 piece which is tucked it all the way in. But it feels like a one piece that way, or more so.
I think one of the things that might have happened too is we know that Discovery ones are all spandexy and look like crap on majority of people. Honestly, they just don't look good. They don't look. I'd be embarrassed to wear one, obviously. And for this one, they might have tried to go the same route with the costume design and thought, we'll tie it together that way. But once they put it on somebody, it kind of lost the look for them. I really prefer the new one. This is like season 3 of TNG as far as new uniforms go. Get rid of the 1-piece spandexy thing, do a 2-piece. It looks better. It feels better.
And I will say, Mary Wiseman, she looks great in it.
Yes,
at the end, I'm glad we got to focus on everybody. She especially was like, you go, girl. You look good.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe, like I said, it goes back to me saying that this is probably a test uniform for the new look, but I have no problem with that. It's a great way to incorporate something like that. You spent the money to build it or to make it, to test it. It didn't quite work, so use it somehow as a background piece or whatever. That's fine.
And I would half agree. I think what probably happened is they obviously were sketching 4 or 5 potentials. This is one of them, and they said, "Yeah, we're going to show different early Tol things. Let's use one of the concept art, and because you can easily make a one-off." And obviously, people like us, we talk about it, and they get some kudos for using it because it does have a lovely connective thing. It's like in Yesterday's Enterprise by showing Enterprise C. Obviously, you've got their variation, which is slightly different, not very much, but slightly. But the fact that they've got a comm badge, that you click it, is a very subtle thing they do, but gives us a very distinct, temporal. This is a technology that exists here and now we've got a distinct, comm badges from this point, and the stripe comes in from this point. So it's a lovely, simple thing. And I will just say, though, in terms of form-fitting, she looks great in the uniform. I think actually suits her quite well. And I do hope we see this again. It would be an easy, cut to pre-burn, here's the uniform. Or cut to first, maybe this is the first burn uniform. because Senate Tal clearly... I don't think Senate Tal will be locked into Earth for 120 years. I don't get that vibe from how that was played.
No, because he knew Vance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. So Senate Tal... I mean, because most Trills aren't symbionted. I mean, and they said that after the burn, very, very few were. So I mean, probably Tal was just a symbiont that happened to need a host, and Senate happened to be a Trill on Earth or something like that. So it'd be kind of fun if we know the just pre-burn uniforms were the ones that we saw previously with the red shoulders, and this is the first nope, post-burn, everything sucks. Doing new uniform, we're gonna a sense of hope in future. Here it is. I could see that being, and then now we have the current ones.
Now you understand the title, why it's called the Hidden Uniform. Because when I saw that, I was like, what are we talking about today?
But do you think I justified it with my comparison reviews?
Yeah, I wouldn't have said hidden, but
because we just didn't talk about it at all. We didn't focus on it at all. We didn't understand it really. We meant it was the least interesting one of that batch.
We'll go back and watch it. I do refer to it as the motion picture one, I think. Anyway, here we are, guys. What did you think of the uniform? Did you notice it? Did you notice that it tied in? The stripe is a good indicator. It looks good, I gotta say. So it's a good prequel one. But anyway, put in the comments what you guys thought about this. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell icon to all, because we talk about these kind of things. We break down, we get into the detail, the nitty gritty, and that's what we do here. So we love it. Please join us.
And if you want to see more of this sort of content, and we want to see it, but we do need your direct help for that as well. Patreon is a great way. It's a monthly service, or if you just like YouTube, join the channel via YouTube. There's a few tiers for that, or one-time donation either via the PayPal service, which is trekyards@hotmail.com, or as a super chat on the many live streams we do. Direct communication, direct contact, direct support, great ways, and we love you guys saying, hey, did you notice this? And then we can have a 10-minute conversation on a $5 super chat, and everyone has a great time. So if you can, please do. If you can't, don't worry. It's free either way. But if enough of you support, we can keep going. And you have for a couple of years now via super chats, or a year and a bit super chats. So we hope you continue.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
We found you, Stuart. Excellent. Hopefully you won't disappear on us again. Bye, guys. I'm John Bye.